Maturity isn't about age. You know people in their 60s who throw tantrums at restaurants. You know 20-somethings who handle crises like seasoned diplomats. The number on your birth certificate means nothing. What matters is how your brain learned to process reality. Truly mature people don't announce their maturity. They don't post about it. They don't explain how evolved they are compared to everyone else. That's the first sign. If someone needs to tell you they're mature, they're not. Mature people just exist differently. They move through the world like they've read the instruction manual everyone else threw away. Here's what actually separates them. They've killed their ego, not damaged it, not suppressed it, killed it. The ego is that voice screaming me, look at me, every second of your life. It's the thing that needs to win every argument. It demands credit for every achievement. It collapses when criticized. Mature people strangled that voice years ago. They can admit they're wrong. They can say, I don't know. They can watch someone else succeed without their stomach turning into a knot of jealousy. Try doing that. Most people can't. They've also accepted that nobody cares. This sounds brutal. It's actually liberating. You think people are judging your outfit, your career, your life choices. They're not. They're too busy worrying about their own outfit, their own career, their own existence. Mature people understand this. They stop performing. They stop curating their personality for an imaginary audience. They wear comfortable shoes. They admit they like simple things. They stop pretending to enjoy wine that tastes like battery acid just because it's expensive. Control is another thing. Mature people know what they can control. Their effort, their reaction, their words, that's it. Everything else is weather. You can't control the economy. You can't control your boss's mood. You can't control whether your partner's parents like you. Immature people waste energy trying to control these things. They get angry at traffic. They argue with strangers online. They try to change people who don't want to change. Mature people save their energy. They focus on the tiny circle of things they actually influence. Everything outside that circle, not their problem. Emotional regulation looks different too. Immature people are controlled by their feelings. Something bad happens and they explode. Something good happens and they're invincible for 3 days. They're puppets on emotional strings. Mature people feel the same emotions. They just don't let those emotions make decisions. They feel angry and then pause. They feel scared and then assess. They feel excited and then plan. There's a gap between stimulus and response. That gap is where maturity lives. They've made peace with failure. Not just accepted it. Made peace with it. They've failed so many times that failure lost its power. They've been rejected, fired, dumped, embarrassed, wrong, and stupid, and they survived all of it. Immature people avoid failure like it's fatal. They don't try new things. They don't take risks. They need guaranteed success before they move. Mature people know there's no such thing as guaranteed success. They try anyway, they fail, they learn, they try again. The failure doesn't define them because they've stopped defining themselves by outcomes. Boundaries are non-negotiable. Mature people have clear boundaries and they enforce them without guilt. They say no. They leave situations that don't serve them. They cut off people who drain them. Immature people have weak boundaries because they need approval. They say yes when they mean no. They tolerate disrespect because they fear confrontation. They stay in bad relationships because being alone feels worse. Mature people would rather be alone than compromised. They've learned that protecting your peace is more important than being liked. They listen more than they talk. This seems simple. It's not. Most people are just waiting for their turn to speak. They're not listening. They're loading their response. Mature people actually hear what you're saying. They ask questions. They think before responding. They don't interrupt. They don't make everything about their own experience. When you talk to them, you feel heard. That's rare. That's maturity. Time becomes sacred. Immature people waste time like it's infinite. They scroll for hours. They complain for days. They hold grudges for years. Mature people understand that time is the only resource you can't buy back. They're selective. They drop friendships that feel like work. They skip events that drain them. They say no to opportunities that don't align with their goals. This looks cold, it's actually smart. They're not being rude, they're being intentional. They've stopped waiting to be rescued. Immature people think someone else will fix their life. A partner, a job, a lottery ticket. Mature people know the cavalry isn't coming. If their life is going to improve, they have to improve it. If they're unhappy, they have to change something. If they're lonely, they have to reach out. No one is coming to save them. This realization is terrifying and then freeing. Once you accept it, you start moving. Gratitude becomes automatic, not performative gratitude, not Instagram caption gratitude, real gratitude. Mature people notice good things without trying. They appreciate small moments, a good meal, a clear sky, a comfortable bed. Immature people focus on what's missing. They always want more, better, different. They're never satisfied because satisfaction comes from inside, and they keep looking outside. They've learned to apologize properly. Not, "I'm sorry you feel that way, that's garbage." Real apologies, "I was wrong, I hurt you, I'll do better." No excuses, no justification. Just accountability. Immature people can't do this. Their ego won't allow it. Admitting fault feels like death. Mature people know that apologizing doesn't make you weak. It makes you trustworthy. Patience replaces urgency. Immature people need everything now. Results, answers, success. Mature people understand that meaningful things take time. Careers develop over decades. Relationships deepen over years. Skills improve over months. They're not in a rush because they're playing a long game. They can delay gratification. They can work on something for years without seeing results. They trust the process because they've seen the process work. The most telling sign. They're comfortable with silence. Awkward silence doesn't scare them. Being alone doesn't terrify them. They don't need constant noise or stimulation or validation. They can sit with themselves. They can think. They can just exist. Immature people run from silence. They fill every moment with distraction. They can't be alone because being alone means facing themselves. Mature people have faced themselves. They've looked at their flaws and failures and fears, and they decided to keep going anyway. That's maturity, not perfection, not superiority, just self-awareness plus self-control plus self-control plus self-acceptance. It's rare, but it's learnable. Anyone can get there. Most people just don't want to do the work.